That was going to happen, and everybody I've been talking to is like, it's going to go from one extreme to the next, where that's really the case. But all of the rainfall that we've seen leading up to this point is what's going to help us be as humid as it's going to be, and that's why we have this heat advisory. It's only for a small sliver of North Texas, right on the far western edge. Right now, the DFW area not included in this. We will be watching this very closely, though, as we head toward the weekend to see if that changes. But it's all to do with, really, the best way I can describe it is the air you can wear, and what it actually feels like when you're out there can be very dangerous if those temperatures get too high. So the dew points, what we're looking at here is right around the mid to low 70s, and a very uncomfortable stage. As it gets up into the 76-degree mark, that's where it's kind of unbearable. Right now you can see these dew points mainly from 72 to 75. We do have a few locations at 76 degrees though, and that's the dew point is the measure of the moisture in the air. So even though the air temperature is, this isn't bad, you're like, this is nothing. 80 in Fort Worth, 82 in Dallas. When you walk outside, it's like a wall of air, and so it actually feels more like the mid to upper 80s in some locations around DFW. It feels close to 100 already, and we're only at lunch hour for locations off to the west. So that's why we have that first heat advisory for the western edge. So if you're going to be out and about today, it's going to be dry, it's going to be great. Just make sure you're safe. We're going to go over some safety tips as we move forward, because it's the first one of the season, a reminder of how we need to handle the next several days. 90 is where I have our high temperature, Sonia, for today for Dallas-Fort Worth. We'll have much more coming up. All right, Kate, next several days, because we are going to be dealing with so much humidity, because not only the recent rainfall, but also we're pumping up a lot of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico right now. So here's a look at our top story. Heat advisory because of that humidity in effect for a couple of our western counties here in North Texas. It does not include DFW. It does not include majority of the area, but because we are going to see heat indices in the 105 to 110 range for those locations, that's why we have that heat advisory. Here's where we are right now. We've got 80 degrees in Fort Worth, 83 in Waxahachie, 82 in Greenville, 86 out in Albany. If we look here at the dew points the measure of the moisture in the air, and that's what you're feeling when you're out there. It's 72 to 75 degrees depending on where you are. So if we look at our muggy meter here and show you, that is in the uncomfortable level. So we're going to be very uncomfortable today, and it's really going to stay that way as we move forward through today and into the weekend. We'll stay right around that uncomfortable where we're going to be 74, 73, and then 75. When you combine that with the air temperature, it will actually feel more like the triple digits pretty much every single day starting today moving forward. There'll be some locations that feel like 100, other spots 99. I mean, really, what's the difference, right? 92 as we go into Thursday, it will feel more like 103. 93 as we go into Friday, it'll feel more like 102. And look at Saturday. Saturday 95, going to feel like 107 degrees. Now, it's good time. I know a lot of you are wondering, with all the rain, when are you going to get to the pool? Well, that's a perfect opportunity, but make sure that you are safe here as we move forward. Rain-wise, we're going to stay mainly dry. I mean, it traced about 1/10 of an inch with a small chance on Sunday. Otherwise, we're talking no rainfall. It's really the heat and humidity that's our top story. So I want to go back over and look at this afternoon's forecast high temperatures for today. You can see where we're going to have a little bit more sunshine. We're going to see those temperatures in the mid to upper 90s. 90, 91, 92 all around DFW. You factor in that humidity, and here you go. So you saw that level. I said 99, but look, Denton, you're going to be at 102. McKinney, you're going to be at 100. So really, it's going to be right around the triple digits this afternoon. So I want to revisit how fast a car warms up, the inside of a car, when we're dealing with temperatures in the low to mid 90s. So here's the outside temperature, 94. Within 10 minutes inside the car, it's 113 degrees. Within 20 minutes, 123. Within 30 minutes, 128, and so on and so on. So please do not leave children, pets, anyone in the car when you leave for any amount of time, because it is extremely dangerous. Also, if we look forward as we move forward into the weekend, I wanted to put this together to kind of give you a better idea to just the difference between the air temperature and the actual heat index all the way through and into Saturday. So that's our main topic here, because we of course have to have something that's not quite ideal, right? 90 degrees. If we go back over the forecast, south winds, yes, they're pumping in the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, but they are helping a little bit, 10 to 20 miles per hour. 76 with partly cloudy skies tonight. And here's a look at that 10-day forecast. 10-day forecast shows you that, yes, we have a couple of small chances for rain in the next 10 days, but overall it is a dry stretch, and it is a very, very humid stretch. Sonia?
Yes, I feel it even inside.
We're glad to be able to say goodbye to the rainfall, but all of that moisture that's here because of how saturated our ground is at this point is going to cause some very high humidity levels for us. So heat advisory in effect, our first one of the season. It does not include DFW, but just off to the west and our western counties of North Texas. That's going to be today at 1 o'clock through tomorrow evening because we are going to have some very high heat indices. So we'll talk about that here in a second. If you walk outside right now, the actual temperature isn't too bad. I mean, it's 80 degrees in Fort Worth right now. It's 83 in Mineral Wells, a little warmer off to the north and west near the 90-degree mark, but not too bad. It's the moisture content in the air, which is the dew point temperature that measures the moisture, that's in the low to mid 70s out there. So when you look at our muggy meter, and we show this a lot during the summer, so we've kind of put it away until now, you can see that if you're in the 60s or 50s, it's nice, it's beautiful, but right now we're in this low to mid 70s. It's uncomfortable, folks. And it's going to be that way not only today, but all the way through and into the weekend. So what does that mean for what it feels like when you're out and about? Here's a look. Temperatures today are right around 90 degrees in Dallas, 91 in Terrell, mid 90s off to the west. So the locations that have that heat advisory this afternoon, your actual air temperatures in the mid 90s. You factor in those dew points and it puts you 105 to 110 depending on where you are, and that is why there's that heat advisory, because those are very dangerous levels to be at. Now for most of North Texas, we're not too far off from that. We're anywhere from 99 in Fort Worth to 102 in Denton, 100 in McKinney. So even though we're not in the heat advisory, you still need to make sure you're taking precautions. And if you work outside, take frequent breaks, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Now, if we look here moving forward, here's Thursday, the air temperature 93, what it actually feels like when you're out there, 103. Friday, 93 degrees, 102. As we go into Saturday, 95 feels like 107, and Sunday, 93 feels like 105. So we are going to be watching Saturday and Sunday, especially for locations across DFW that may need a heat advisory. It really just depends, so we'll keep an eye on that. But pet safety, we went over some of the car safety earlier. Now that it's dry, you want to get those pets out there and play, but protect your pets, keep them hydrated, make sure they have some shade to go into. Never leave them in cars. And if the asphalt is too hot on your bare feet, it's definitely too hot for their little paws. So please keep that in mind. That's a good way to kind of see if it's too hot on the pavement. Don't let your pets do too much outside. And here are some heat stroke symptoms. This is what you look for: excessive panting, discolored gums, and mobility problems. So those are some issues. Otherwise, no rainfall. You can get your car washed. We have a small chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm as we go toward Tuesday or Monday, but nothing widespread. If we go back over the forecast for today, the main topic I want you to take away, of course, we've talked about it, is how humid it's going to be. Temperatures now near 90, 76 degrees tonight, still very muggy overnight. And here's a look at that 10-day forecast. This very tropical environment is going to continue all the way through really the middle of next week before we see some relief. Sonia? All right, it's going to be in a ponytail for the rest of the week because there's just no hope right now. We have heat and humidity as the main topic here as we move forward. So we've ditched the rain, but we haven't quite ditched feeling that air you can wear, basically, is the best way to describe it, right? So because of all the rain we've seen, that's why we have such humid conditions, and that's going to last all the way through the weekend. So we're combining that with temperatures that should be in the low 90s for June. This is